So, our next chapter is chapter 20. And I've got this other little thing here. That's a quote by Theodore Roosevelt. It says, "A thorough knowledge of the Bible is worth more than a college education." Oh, why didn't they tell me that before I went to school? Damn. I already had a thorough knowledge of the Bible. That lot of good it did me. Nobody paid me for sitting home studying the Bible. So, I also have a bucket for fuckets. When you get to that place in life, you just want to say fuck it. Yeah, it's a big sin offering for God. Yeah. So I'm willing to take donations for my Bible studies if you get anything from it. Just send it to my ex-husband's lawyer and the federal government and all my debt to society. So, chapter 20, Zophar the Naamathite replied to Job. This is in the book of Job. "My troubled thoughts prompt me to answer because I am greatly disturbed." Aren't we all? "I hear a rebuke that dishonors me, and my understanding inspires me to reply." Me too, although I just tend to get left in the dark a lot by my family and what's going on in their lives, which is fine. That's just how my family rolls. "Surely you know how it has been from of old, ever since man was placed on the earth, that the mirth of the wicked is brief." That's sad. I thought we were supposed to always be happy and full of mirth and laughter. "The joy of the godless lasts but a moment." Well, that's sad too, because we're supposed to be joyful all the time. Especially when you come home from work. You're supposed to be happy to come home, not angry and blowing up at everybody. But sometimes when you come home and you find the house a mess and dog poop all over the floor and you're tired and you've got more work to do when you get home on top of the work you were doing, and then you got homework to do too. I mean, everybody's got their limits of what kind of stress levels they can handle. "Though his pride reaches to the heavens and his head touches the clouds, he will perish forever like his own dung." That sounds like a narcissistic dictator. That sounds like Trump, our leader, who has pride that reaches to the heavens in like a Trump tower, and his head touches the clouds. I know people whose head touches the clouds. I think all of our heads touch the clouds because I live in a state where we have a lot of fog, and if you go through fog, that's a cloud. It's just really low-hanging clouds. "He will perish forever like his own dung. Those who have seen him will say, 'Where is he?' Like a dream, he flies away, no more to be found. Banished like a vision of the night." Oh, thank God the scripture is in here. "The eye that saw him will not see him again. His place will look on him no more. His children must make amends to the poor. His own hands must give back his wealth." So my children must make amends to the poor. If they've been given a privileged life, they should, out of their abundance, help out someone who is not as well off as they are. But be careful, because no good deed goes unpunished. If Trump were to make amends to the poor, his own hands would have to give back his wealth. If his children need to make amends to the poor, then his children should be very generous as well. The youthful vigor that fills his bones will lie him in the dust. We all get laid in the dust eventually. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. What the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. I hope we don't go through another dust bowl. That's a bugger to have to clean up a bunch of dust all over your house. Sand blowing in and dust. And I've lived on the coast. I know all about dust bowls. Though evil is sweet in his mouth, and he hides it under his tongue, though he cannot bear to let it go and keep it in his mouth, yet his food will turn sour in his stomach. It will become the venom of serpents within him. Do you know we have serpents in us? Wow. Wow. So if you have food that turns sour in your stomach, you're eating something that, I don't know if you want to be eating the venom of serpents. I don't know if you want to be eating snakes. I think snakes are also an unclean meat. But okay, some people do eat snakes, I guess. I eat words, mostly the ones I speak myself. But I tell people that my brain is kind of like, it's got a bunch of vipers inside, like Medusa, the Greek mythology. I like Greek mythology. And I think some snakes are beautiful. I actually have a niece that had some big snakes. And then she had babies, and they might not go together well in the same house. But that's risky, and I don't know if she kept the snakes or chose to keep her baby. I don't know. But yes, snakes are actually very beautiful creatures, but you have to respect the poisonous ones. And if it's like this that snake, how snake-like can I be? Kind of thing, right? Snakes. The serpent is a bad guy in these stories. The serpent is the bad guy in these stories. And I tell men, I joke with them, that their worm hanging between their leg, that they think is an anaconda snake, they're still going to die and go into the ground and sprout worms. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Men have pecker issues, and men can be deceitful. That's the truth. There you have it. Women can be too. Women can be serpentine. Look at Melania. God, she looks like a snake. She's got those slanted eyes. She looks weird to me. I'm sure to most people she's very, very beautiful. I would be impressed if she could ever write her own speech. She had an original thought in her head. But I might be a harsh judge. I don't know. He will spit out the riches he swallowed. God will make his stomach vomit them up. I was told I'm a writer of vomit. I write Facebook vomit. I vomit. I've cleaned up a lot of vomit. Real life vomit from children who get sick and they throw up. I've had so much throw up on me from my children that if they were sick and they were throwing up, I'd let them throw up on me again. That's just what you do when you're a mom. He will suck the poison of serpents. The fangs of an adder will kill him. If you don't know what an adder is, that's a snake. He will not enjoy the streams, the rivers flowing with honey and cream. That's funny. Do we have rivers flowing with honey and cream? Or do we have flowers that bees need to make honey, and then clean water that people need? So we don't want to be filling the streams up with cow dung and, McDonald's industrialized farming. That's not healthy. What he toiled for, he must give back uneaten. They've had to throw away a lot of food now because of this coronavirus. All that work and the food goes to waste, but sometimes that happens. It's almost a form of famine. He will not enjoy the profit from his trading, for he has oppressed the poor and left them destitute. He has seized houses he did not build. Wow. I know what oppression feels like. I know what depression feels like, and I also know what oppression feels like. Oppressed is, who cares about your opinion? Shut up. No one cares about your opinion. And you're just a woman. So you don't get paid what you're worth. You're just you're nothing but an alcoholic. You're nothing but a liar. You're nothing but a woman. You're nothing but a mom. You're nothing but a stay-at-home mom. You're nothing but a Sunday school teacher. You're nothing but. Well, I guess you could say I've grown up around a lot of assholes. Surely he will have no respite from his craving. He cannot save himself by his treasure. Nope. You can't. You can be the richest person on the earth and you're not taking one shit lick of anything with you when you die. You get to leave behind a bunch of stuff and then people get a squabble over it, I guess. Not that I had a family that did anything like that with my parents' treasures. Nothing is left for him to devour. His prosperity will not endure. In the midst of his plenty, distress will overtake him. The full force of misery will come upon him. When he has filled his belly, God will vent his burning anger against him and rain down his blows upon him. God, that does not sound like a nice God. Dang. That does not sound like a very nice God. Sometimes good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. That's the truth of it. Though he flees from an iron weapon, a bronze-tipped arrow pierces him. He pulls it out of his back, the gleaming point out of his liver. Terrors will come over him. Total darkness lies in wait for his treasures. A fire unfanned will consume him and devour what is left in his tent. The heavens will expose his guilt. The earth will rise up against him. A flood will carry off his house. Rushing waters on the day of God's wrath. Wow, that sounds like living in Mapleton. Where we have like seasonal floods all the time. If you're going to live in a flood zone, you got to expect that your house could get flooded. That's just the way it is. If you're going to live in a big city, you might want to expect that there's going to be higher rates of violence and higher rates of diseases because you got closer contact with people. That's just the way it is. If you're going to live a lifestyle of intentional homelessness, then you're going to have certain things you're going to be up against. That's just the way it is. And if you are stuck out on the streets, it's hard. It's a hard way to live. It's a big challenge. It can be done. People have a lifestyle of that, and sometimes they don't want it anymore, and they want to get off the streets, and then our society makes it almost impossible for them to, and that's sad too. Such is the fate of God. Such is the fate God allots the wicked, the heritage appointed for them by God. So, if you believe in God, you inherit what you inherit, and God gives you a heritage. I inherited a book. And some good memories. But not any money. I didn't inherit money. Money is not everything. I inherited a very strong will. and an iron determination that I can only take so much abuse and then I will stand up to it. Because I can only take so much of certain things and then I hit a wall. And when Trump started talking about building a wall, and he reminded me of somebody from my past, I started imagining scaling that wall. And then I started to decide to challenge God on all of this bullshit in this book. So I challenged God. And I'm sorry, because the Bible says you should not challenge God. But I did. And I scared a few people. And I'm sorry for that as well. I had watched a movie, and it inspired me to paint a picture with my words. And the people in power over me didn't like the picture I painted with my words, so they asked me to stay home. And so I did. And I figured, okay, well, if I have to stay home, then everybody gets to stay home. Yay, let's share in the fun.